at the live stream for the 24th of February, the last Thursday of the month of February 2022. Lots been going on. Fortunately, not right here. I had a dental event this week, so my partial is getting repaired, and I should have that back on Tuesday. But Tuesday is July 1st, and I have jury duty that day. And usually those jury duty is canceled for those. It's rare that a trial is held in the county. But so far, it's been sticking to it, so I may get my first. My wife had jury duty a few years ago, and it turned out to be a civil suit, one guy suing another, and after a morning of inanity, the judge said to everybody on the jury, he says, "I'm very sorry to have troubled you. Neither the defense nor the prosecution is either the least bit organized. You can go, case dismissed." And that was how it is. So Stephen Barry has been a ham for 45 years. Well, congratulations to you, Stephen. I think that's wonderful. 45. He was 12 when he got them. And glad you're enjoying the videos. Still trying to put one up every day. I think I think it's getting about time with the pandemic. I mean, I went up to see a nephrologist today, and we had to wear the masks in the hospital, and we had to wear the masks in a museum, but we didn't need to wear masks in the restaurant in Denny's, nor anywhere else. So, it's kind of at the end, and I think I may start to pull back a little bit from a video every day, and I think from now on, well, we've got videos laid out for quite a while. We'll probably start skipping Sunday or Monday or some day during the week, get us down to 6 a week, and then just see how things go. And see, I definitely have enough questions to do videos about. The big question is whether I have enough videos to do columns about. My column for May is due on the 1st. So I've been trying to think of what to do with that. I'll look through questions and try and find ones that are appropriate. I actually don't get that many questions too. It's Ask Dave, no hyphen or anything, just Ask Dave at ARRL.org, not .net, but org.org. Okay, and those come directly to me. And so I'll be writing my column here, and I usually pick 3, 4, or 5 of them to answer. And I try to provide my editor, who's Bob Lee at the ARRL, with enough material that he can cut, trim, whatever he wants. There'll be plenty of material there. The very first column I wrote for him ended up being too short, and that is not a good thing. So, Stephen, congratulations on being a ham for 45 years. And Richard says best wishes to all. And Don is in Minnesota, KC0OG. And imagine it's cold up there. It's cold here. It's 18 degrees. When we left this morning, it was still snowing. We had to go up to Grand Junction, which is 2 hours north of here on a good day. And we got up north of Montrose, and the roads became just wet. Although there was snow everywhere, they had put the stuff down on the road, mag chloride or whatever it is, to keep the road from freezing over. And on our way home, we had nice clear road all the way, and sun. Lots of sun today, so I don't know, maybe I'll be able to go flying in a couple days. I've been kind of snowed in here for a while on that. Yeah, dental event. What happened was my partial was putting some sideways pressure on some teeth over here, and one of them snapped when I was eating a plain old-fashioned milk chocolate M&M. So I think it was just about ready to go. I think it had sideways pressure on it for quite a while. So they're supposed to have that back for me on Tuesday. And, they took the old tooth out, which was, I wish somebody would invent painless dentistry. That was a horrible. My wife was sitting out in the waiting room and she could hear me screaming. It's just awful. But, I I know an awful lot of dentists, been the rounds here in Montrose. The problem, dentists, they do things, they're very necessary and they do good things for us. But usually people leave the dentist's office hurting. And that takes its toll on dentists. I'm not trying to say here I have huge sympathy for them because they do hurt, but oh well. It's done, and they were able to take my partial and add a tooth to it, so it's supposed to be back. So they don't have to do an implant or a bridge or anything like that, so that's good. Sunny, Kirkland, Washington in February. Sunny, wow. Good for you. I hope you guys are getting lots and lots of moisture out there. John Mills has also had dental problems. August from northern Illinois, 25 degrees Fahrenheit with 4 inches of snow falling. Yeah, we've got about 6 inches in the backyard on the ground. And it's too it's too cold for it to melt. So ADHD says hello from Oregon, KK7AQN. See Glenn Martin from Far West Missouri, N0QFT. Richard, K9GCP. Just rain here in southern Indiana. That's nice. I'd like the snow to stay in the mountains if it would. If you look up on top of the mountains, even though it's been sunny all day, the snow has not yet fallen from the trees. So all the trees up there look white. Of course, down here where we are at 7,000 feet, the snow melted out of the trees pretty much already. Evening Augies, 18 in central Kansas. Question, as you're earning money out of your ham radio videos and such, does that make you an amateur radio professional? An amateur professional. I do earn money. People provide support to the channel through Patreon and through PayPal, and of course the advertisements through YouTube. And the league does pay me to write that column and does pay me to lease the training videos, which are up on their site. It's not enough to make a living out of, but it does make a nice retirement supplement. As far as being an amateur radio operator, of course I'm an amateur like everybody else. What the money goes to is the channel. And yes, I do pay taxes on all of it. If you send a $20 tip, I will be paying taxes on that $20 tip. In fact, it is tax time. I need to get my act together here, because usually I get my taxes to the tax guy about this time of year. And with the additional stuff from the league, I've actually done very well, which means I owe more taxes. So I've got to keep money set aside for that sort of eventuality. 18 degrees in central Kansas, KB0T, BC. I assume that you have the same problem that we do there, which is if it's clear at night, it can become extremely cold. Let's see, Chris Wilson also said hi. Let's see, is amateur radio professional? No, it's still amateur radio. I got a weird call yesterday from a ham, is a general class license, from New York City. He was, he does, for tall buildings, we're talking 77 stories in this case. For tall buildings, he puts in radio systems so that firemen's radios can communicate with each other. And he was having a problem with antennas and stuff like that. We spent about an hour on the phone. And I said, look, I am not a professional engineer. I cannot give you advice that you can rely on to build your building. I can give you some general guidelines for antennas, but not specific advice or direction, because I'm not a professional engineer, meaning I don't have a state license to be an engineer. Never have. When you're in aerospace, they don't require you to be a formal professional engineer. I have never seen an aerospace engineering firm require that. Rain in southern Indiana, let's see. 10 degrees, but sub-zero temps may be behind us for the year. That'd be nice. We need more snow. We need lots more snow. We just do. We're in yet another drought. Here in Colorado, we have either a drought year or an abundant year. We don't have anything in between. There's no such thing as a normal year. You have drought years punctuated by a very abundant year, drought years punctuated by a very abundant year. And then the statistical average falls in the middle, and no year is ever equal to the statistical average. It's either one way or the other. So, Houston, Texas, KI5TGK. And let's see, Richard, that was David Elkins in Texas. Take 25 in snow over 35 in rain any day. Cold is one thing, cold and wet is another. You know, the one advantage to cold and wet is you can't shovel rain. We were up in Grand Junction, but Kellum, my assistant, came here to the house because I left him 11 videos to work on. And he's coming back tomorrow, and I'm going to get him to shovel the walk, because we're getting to the point where that's just too hard to do. Am I still going to the Vermont HamCon? Yes, I am. I'm planning on that for Saturday morning. I have it on my calendar for 9 Mountain Time, which means I think it is like 11 in Vermont. If you have anything special you want me to mention, let me know. And here's Ross, VK2YIO, from a very wet Sydney, Australia. Well, that's good for you too, because you guys down under have a terrible problem with drought. Let's see, Trayford says AJ4AC is in the house. Paul Griffith, warm in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Yeah, and Trayford, we were 82 in Macon. Is that Georgia? No, he says he's in New Orleans. No, that was Paul in New Orleans. Chris Wilson says, "G'day," from Wilf609. Jamaica Dog says 75 degrees in Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina. 60 degrees right now. Yeah, that's very nice weather there. Chris G7VEO, does snow make a good ground plane to improve signals like water? No, it doesn't. You need salt water to do that. Clear water does not conduct electricity. It's a very good insulator. But you put salt in it and all bets are off. So if you have a antenna installation next to one of the Great Lakes, it's not going to help you that much. But if you have it next to the ocean, oh yeah, that's going to help you quite a bit, because that salt water conducts electricity extremely well, and that's a good thing for that sort of thing. Let's see, Can't Sleep, So Great to Catch You in Ogie Land, GW6 BXU. It's what, about 2 in the morning? 2 in the morning over there. Wow. Enough drugs in a cold Miller Lite, no pain. Gary Sturm, N9 POJ from Sandcut, Indiana, rain and cold. K9GCP says 60 Minutes Australia had a story about a German engineer who claims he tracked MH370 using whisper signals from amateur radio. Any reality to this? Aircraft are reflectors of electrical. The very first radar experiments with Sir Watson Watt and his people were looking at BBC signals reflected from aircraft. So it was a continuous wave, MF, medium frequency radio, and they were able to track the aircraft with that. It was a cooperating aircraft. The British in World War II, Chain Home had HF radars, over the horizon radars. They used about 7 megahertz. The Germans couldn't believe that the British would use something that low, so they never came up with any countermeasures for it. And the Germans went with UHF and up into S-band radios. Okay, so is it possible to use whisper to do that? Possible, yes. Probable, no. Whisper signals tend to be weak, but they could very well bounce off an airplane. And so if you can see changes in the whisper signal repetitions, you could, in theory, infer within very broad boundaries, kind of, sort of, where the aircraft went. I haven't heard any more about that. I would like to see that. David Elkin says it's 40 degrees and misting rain in Houston. Hope that doesn't turn into an ice storm. 34 degrees in South Texas, KN5 KVO. That's Chuck Schreiber. Glenn Martin, 70 degrees Fahrenheit in Northwest Missouri. It's 18 degrees here. James, I will be attending HandCon. Can't wait to meet me in person. Well, it'll be in person over Zoom. Okay, in person over Zoom. And I'm just going to answer questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing and encourage people to provide questions and see if I can't get some by then. Of course, now that's after let's see, is that this Saturday? Yeah, that's this Saturday. Okay. All right. Seattle area here. Let's see. Welcome back. Yeah, we seem to have a much better link tonight. I had a couple of discussions last week with the owner of the local ISP here. And all Augies from Cold Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I imagine. Seattle area from AB7RK. Optical Man Jeff was KE0OG for in Sioux Falls. GDMRN from Manila got a question. Does Yaesu have an updated software for the FT857D? I had mine worked on, but seems like I have to reboot it every other day. Well, you can go to their website, and on the Yaesu website, I'll show you here. If we go to Yaesu, I'm not sure if it's Yaesu.com or Yaesu America. Okay, let's pick a radio here. We go to products and we go to, say, HF transceivers and amplifiers. And you find the one that's closest to what you're looking at, like the 891 here. And you look under Files. See the Files right here where it says Files? Click on Files, and you've got, this thing doesn't want to go down that far, I'm sorry. Let us do this. And now we can do this. So, product images, here's the software. All current software 2.1.21, okay? That's the most recent, 2.1.21. And they're using the American Convention for dates, I believe. So it will be February 1st, either that or the 2nd of January. But yes, there is new firmware, okay? So I think you asked about the Yaesu. So I hope that answers your question. 857D. That's an old one. 857D. Normally when they don't have new firmware for the older models, I don't see an 857. The 891, I think, is the closest to it. Okay, so you can ask around and see what people might have. 57 degrees, Huntington Beach, California. That's kind of normal this time of year for the evening. An ice storm took down my 80-40-20 homebrew fan dipole. And Richard, in typical amateur style, just put it back up. Very good. Howdy, Dave. Is it possible to make a reflector for a 10 through 80 meter sloper? Well, I don't know how you do it. If it's a trapless antenna, if it's end-fed, you can just string another wire underneath it or to the side. It's just a little bit longer. Would give you a reflector. If you got traps in that thing, I really don't know how you would create a reflector without putting traps in the reflector. Basically what you need is an identical copy of the antenna, except just a little longer, like 6 inches to a foot on either end, some quarter wavelength away or something like that, and then it will point the other direction. So yeah, you can do that. 80 meters does not tune up. It is 20 feet higher. Oh, this is for Richard. Yes, you're going to have to change the length on that 80 meter, because remember, in antennas, everything affects everything. So changing the height of the antenna will change the tuning. Okay, just finished putting the ARRL end-fed antenna together on 40 meters. Hope it works. I hope so too. Because I've got one right here. It's in the list of stuff to put together. This is all the parts and pieces for the balun. And I discovered by watching a construction video about it that you need a stepper drill, which I got one of, in order to create the hole big enough for the SO239. I don't have that drill, so I went and got one. Getting 6 inches tonight in Erie, Pennsylvania. See you at Dayton. I should be at Dayton. We are planning on that. Not historical whisper data, according to Joe Taylor. Okay, yeah. The problem is the timing. You gotta get that timing just right. Did the International Space Station get the repeater up and running? I think the only repeater they had was a digipeater, wasn't it? I don't know of a regular 2-meter repeater. I think they just have the simplex station up there. It's warm here, around 80 degrees daytime, 70 at night. Larry, got to tell us where you are. Why do I get RFI in the shack on 12 meters, but no other bands in my window antenna? It has a choke. Well, add to the choke, move wires and cables around. 12 is not a band that's really active right now, so you don't have to worry too much about that, but it's nice to be able to get that to fix it. Try making sure that the ground length from your rig to your ground rod right outside your window is as close as you can get it. Just try moving things, changing things. 15 degrees Fahrenheit at Greeley, Colorado, which is over on the eastern side of the Rockies, north of Denver and somewhat to the east of Fort Collins. Terrence 2 Echo 0 India Papa Kilo, London, 2:05 in the morning. Yeah, that's what my clock shows, 2:10 here. What is the SWR and the antenna without the tuner? Oh, he's asking somebody else. Hey, Al, you have any favorite shortwave or other radio book resources? I use the handbook as a reference, the Radio Amateur's Handbook, available from the League, and also the antenna book. It seems like I spend a lot of time looking in the antenna book, and I can usually find an answer to my questions in there. Okay, HF Underground has plenty of info on HF stuff outside the ham bands. Yeah, it's fun to look at, and almost everybody's HF receiver these days is a general coverage receiver, so you're able to get that stuff that's outside the ham bands. Will you be doing a test showing a non-resonant antenna operations, specifically where you measure the R plus jacks where X is significant at a frequency and run it without a tuner? Well, here's the point. If you've got a non-resonant antenna, you've got to have a tuner or something. Now, rhombics are not resonant, but you run the energy down one direction and put a termination there so that it all just goes out in one direction, and so you're sucking up literally half your power in that termination. Otherwise it goes bidirectionally. And I don't have space for a long wave unless I did it on like 10 meters or something. But generally speaking, you're going to need a tuner with any non-resonant antenna, because something has got to make the antenna resonant, which would be the tuner. Okay, 73 from Nilla PH from Delta Uniform 1. Oh, Delta Uniform, I think that's probably a /N6 HPX. Been having to reboot nearly daily from warm Manila. I can imagine Manila's warm. I spent 2 years in the Philippines on my Mormon mission. Measure current at the feed point with a tuner transmitter. I don't have a RF ammeter. Those used to be quite common, but I don't have one. Back from the local net, it says Glenn. Piano Shop Ray ARRL end antenna used a 5/8 Forster bit in drill press. For the other holes, had to use a conversion table to find the right drill. Yeah, I've been doing that too. The ARRL is in metric, and I can't find a metric drill set. I'm sure there must be some somewhere, but I can't find a metric drill set. So I'm going to be coming up with the one that's the next size higher than the one they call for. 19 degrees in Littleton. Yes, the ISS is working. I hit it on a pass here. and I am in the Philippines. Larry Fields, the lock-ups could be unstable voltages or junk on the power lines to the processor. True, you could put a filter in there. Let's see, I picked up an Anytone 8780 recommendation. Gotta say I love it. Thank you for the help. Well, Jesse, good. I'm glad it's working for you. Let's see, Chris has got his hooked up in the car. Guy Vaughn says, your extra class is very hard to find and I am an ARRL member. What is the fast way to find it? Go to KE0OG.net/extra. It's KE0OG.net/extra. And that's lowercase extra. Now let's see what that brings you up to. Casler slash dcasler.com/extra. Okay, this is the extra. Here are the videos. These should be links, let's see, that are to the learning paths. So like there's number 9, and we go on the air. Oh, we gotta log in. Oh, okay. Okay, moving right along. Let's get the right one here. Let me go back to that link. Whoops. Station control number 7. It's supposed to have a link. There it is. Right there. Okay. So you go into courses. Up here, courses. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. Courses. Okay, and explore courses. Let's see. Here's the technician class. Here's the, there's lots of stuff in here. We got to go to page 2. Mine was some of the first stuff up. So it's down toward the bottom. I'll talk to Steve and see if he can move this around a little bit. But there's the general class and there's the extra class right there. So if you click on the extra class, you can see all the different videos that go with that. Okay? So I hope that answers that question. We'll go back here and go back to normal. Let's see. W6GUY from Guy, the Smoking Ape. Hello, how are you? Chris Wilson, Ranger Smith. WW4 Triple L in Soggy, Tennessee. Golf 7 Victor Foxtrot Yankee in North London. Oscar Alpha 4 Bravo Alpha Kilo in Lima. The counterpoise cable can replace the choke in the antenna coax for an end-fed half-wave. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. You may not have to put a counterpoise on that. Is there a style of antenna that's best for receive only on HF? Well, not licensed yet, but enjoy tuning the different bands and listening to everyone else. There are receive-only antennas. Okay? If we go to Chameleon, Okay. Okay, that's not what I wanted. I want this. Chameleon antenna. Okay. Chameleon antenna pictures. All kinds here. I hope I've got the right one. Shop here. Vertical loop antennas. This right here is their receive loop. Okay, this is their receive loop. They sent me one to review. They've got a new power, they've got a new little preamp in here, which shows what's in there and so on. There is a preamp, and it shows the dB gain and stuff like that. But they want 510 for theirs. There are others. There's one by MFJ. Let's see, receive. Here we go. Receiving right here. Now this is rather substantially less. It's just as strong. I have both the Chameleon and the MFJ and one from W6. Let's see if I can remember him. A W6 LVP. Receive only HF loop. Right there. Oops, let's get this up here where you can see it. Okay, this is his. Now, some of these have got little things that, if you, in case you transmit, it'll keep the power out. But these are receive-only antennas. This is 345. Okay, I have all three of those, and they all work. They'll work just fine. And neither one of them is standing out way above the other. They all work basically the same way. What you're looking for is like in the W6 LVP, it's made of soft coax, so it wiggles a little. Both the MFJ and the Chameleon are metal loops. The MFJ one is a hollow metal aluminum, and the Chameleon is a stronger element like that too. They all have preamps in them, and they're wideband. They will cover MF and HF. Okay, and the Chameleon one will even go down into the low frequencies too. Okay, so that's a good thing to use for shortwave. They are directional. They tend to favor certain directions more than others. Now, you can use that to your advantage to null out a station that's interfering, like a local broadcast station. Now, the other simple receive-only antenna is just a piece of wire strung, to the gutter or the eaves or something like that, and that would work very well. And these are good receive antennas, all of them. Right at the moment, my favorite is the Chameleon. Now, I will tell you up front here that all of those were given to me for review. I didn't buy any of them. The one that I got from MFJ is one of the first things I got from them. I had purchased with channel funds their loop antenna. Would 8-foot 6" radials be best ground plane for 7-foot Fire Stick mobile antenna? The more radials, the merrier. They don't have to be any particular length. 8 feet sounds a little bit short to me. I'd go 15 feet or so on and put in 10, 15 of them. And with radials, it's very loosey-goosey what you can do. My vertical antenna, which is the step IR, big IR, contains... now we're starting to get a little bit of trouble with the internet here. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Optical Man Jeff just put $15 in the channel funds. Thank you very much, Jeff. KE0OG says, thanks, Dave. Great stream. Thank you very much. Okay, new ham here using an ICOM 7300 with a ZS6 BKW dipole at 22 feet, but not getting any signal out. Hearing a lot, but no answers. Okay, go through very carefully the instructions in the manual for the 7300 and make sure that you have the microphone gain set right and the compression set right. You should be getting responses. It'd be nice to get that antenna up higher if you can. It's rule number 2 of antennas. Height matters. Okay. Let's see. Chris had a comment too about those receive-only antennas. To make sure that you have everything right, Stephen, what I would suggest is you get with another ham who lives close to you, who has HF equipment, and you get on the air together with each other and iron out any issues. Because the very first time you put it up, if it's not getting stuff out, and now the ZS6 BKW antenna, you may find you need more of a tuner than what's in. Be sure to use the tuner in the radio. And if it won't tune on that, you might need a wider range tuner. Dave, I can use my 40 meter dipole and 15 with a tuner. True. Can I use my 20 on any other band with an internal? Not that I know of. There's a unique relationship in that the 15 meter band is the third harmonic of the 7 meter band. Now you take 14 and multiply that by 3 and you get 42 megahertz. So that's not a ham band. When using ladder line for a dipole, is there any specific length of ladder line be used? If you're using the ladder line as your transmission line, the answer is no. There is not a specific length that you need. Assuming that the dipole is reasonably well done and about the right length, and then you hook that ladder line to your tuner. You know, there are some mismatches in there, but remember where the power is lost in a mismatch is in the transmission line. And at 450 ohms for window line, you are 9 times the impedance of your 50 ohms. So you'll get 9 squared, or 1/81st. Let me just show that here for a second. Okay, the impedance is the ratio of the voltage to the current. So if you're doing 450, that means the ratio of the voltage to the current is 450, which is 9 times 50. So in order to multiply this by 50 to get 50 ohms out of the thing, you're gonna end up squaring the whole thing here, and it's a factor of 81. The current will be 81 times less than it would be with normal coax. and it's the current. Remember, E equals IR, where R equals I over E. Is that right? No. E over I. Okay. And you lose current, you lose heat in the resistance. Okay, so as the E goes up and the current goes down, it's I squared R equals the power. And if you use that ladder line, the amount that is turned to heat is 81 times less than the amount that's turned to heat in regular coax. That's why people use that parallel line. Okay, using ladder line for dipole, I'm assuming it means as a transmission line. Let's see, Chris Wilson, Connor Bell, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. How goes it tonight from Country Strong and Free? Argoyle says, I sure wish you'd post a table of contents or index of all your hamlings. Boy, that's something my assistant can't really do, because he's not a ham yet. It takes somebody who's an extra class ham to do that, which could mean me, but we're talking every day I create a new video. We're up well over 600 Ask Dave videos, plus all the licensed videos, about 100 there. So, yeah, I'd like to have that too. I had a list of all the videos, but we just couldn't keep up with them. We need some searchable thing or some database where you can put in keywords or stuff like that and find various videos. One thing you can do, if you go to my channel, so that's YouTube, and here's my channel right here. Okay, and go to home. It's this live stream that's on right now. Okay. Up here, you see where this search is. Channels, no, those are my favorite channels. Let's go to home for my channel. No, that's what we're doing right now in the live stream. Let's go back to YouTube / Dave Casler. Okay, you can, now I'm not sure if you actually go to my channel, you're supposed to be able to search on things in the channel. For example, let's say Ballon. But this doesn't look like it's going to give me my own. It gives me my Ballon video, but it gives you a bunch of other Ballon videos. There's supposed to be a way to do this to where it just goes to my channel. And I thought that was it. And I guess that's not it. So, oh well, we will go back to that. But yes, you can search in YouTube, but that's not really super effective, and I just have so many videos. We're about 650 now. I don't know if anybody's got some suggestions on how that can be done. Let's see. Yeah, true. Chris has got a good point about the guy who's having trouble hearing himself on the radio. Is go to one of those online SDRs and see if you're hearing yourself there. Better off getting some antenna books from ARRL or RSGB and make your own. Well, if you want to make your own reference book, you can. You can use your 40-meter quarter wave antenna as 15 meters 3/4 waves. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's see. For shortwave listening with limited space, recommend a mini whip antenna. Yeah, they will need a preamp of some sort. Chris says your 20-meter quarter wave is 3/4 of 42. Yeah, it won't really do that. Now, there is a 4-meter band in Europe that we don't have. Let's see, from Chile, CD4GHM, Delaware Dog coming in. Okay. Humble man, love your videos, thank you. Wish I knew half of what you've forgotten. Unfortunately, as I get older, so do I. Lots of things you can do with an NFib. Can you keyword tag your YouTube videos? I do, kinda, but I think I'd have to do a little better job of that. Try and get to a better description, because YouTube, when it searches, will search in the description too. Let's see. Make some more easily search. It'll go to videos, another way to search there. Okay, Drew Washer, the high impedance of an NFED means higher voltages, so relay switching between quarter ground plane and a half NFED is limited to low power, otherwise you'll arc out. It depends on which side of the relay the balun is on. If the balun is on the antenna side and the balun sits between the relay and the antenna, you're not looking at high voltages. That's taking care of the 49-to-1 balun. But you're right. If you put that, trying to switch a 49 ratio, no, it's a 7-to-1 ratio, 49-to-1 impedance balun between antennas, you're going to fry some things there. Okay, let's take a look at a couple things. We're well into the program here. There was some confusion over what the giveaway was this time. This is what was first announced. The Radiodity GS5B radio. And this has got a pretty good manual. And it is basically a UV5R from Baofeng, except the RF section's been fixed, so it doesn't broadcast harmonics and stuff all over the place. So this is the one we were originally going to give away. Then I said it was going to be this signal generator right here. And so a number of people caught me on that little mistake. So what we're going to do is give away first the GS5B. Now note this has a Radiodity name on it. There is some sort of an arrangement between Radiodity and Baofeng. Radiodity sells pure FM radios like this one, and it also sells the DMR radios that have got the Baofeng name on them. Okay. So this is a nice radio. I've tested it. You program this with Chirp. Okay. And the programming cable is in here. Okay. So this will be boxed up and sent out very soon. And I'm also going to give away as second prize the little signal generator here. Okay. And then as third prize, something that I picked up on last Friday at the Ham Radio Club. This is the 1959 Radio Amateur's Handbook. And it's got all the, I'm going to go to this one here. It's got all the cool advertising in the back. Remember, these were all new things at the time of the publication of this. And of course, there's nary a mention of a transistor in here. It's all vacuum tubes. And it has the vacuum tube references in here. vacuum tube data, and it has the tube base drawings, if I can find it. There. These are all the tube base drawings for different types of tubes that were available back then. If you have old radios, something like this is a must. Otherwise, it's just very cool for looking through a book that might be older than you are. So look at the price, $350. It's now about $50 or $60 for the new ones today. During the war years, in World War II, the League, of course, hams couldn't transmit, but the League prepared a lot of information for the Department of Defense, including a special handbook during that time to be used during the war. And it was a great help. I'd love to get my hands on one. Also, the British, when they developed their system that fed into the Enigma decoding, used old issues of the Radio Amateur's Handbook to build their radios to do that. They ended up using an American radio to do that. Okay, let's go back to live. Here we have people who've mailed in, and we're going to pick some winners right now. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to pick in here in the middle and pull out this card. So KF5 PFP in Texas is the winner of the radio. So I'm going to put that, let's see what his name is here. He's in Irving, Texas, and he is John Cheney, Cheyny, Cheney. Okay, and has a nice picture of, I guess, with an longhorns like that, you could hook that up as a 2-meter dipole and have a little fun with that. So I'm going to put this card here, and that will go out in the mail maybe tomorrow. I may have to get to the post office and get some boxes. Okay, so now this is the signal generator that goes up to around 200 kilohertz. So it's a little thing here. I'm going to pick this one right here. Doesn't have a return address on it. Okay, this is for the February giveaway. This is Bob Kirkby, W0HNV in North Dakota. Bob Kirkby, W0HNV, receives the signal generator, and this I'm going to put with this a power cable, and I'm also going to put it's set here so that you can attach the output of this to whatever you're playing with at the time. This is sort of a maker version of a signal generator, and it's technically an arbitrary waveform generator because you can actually load a waveform in here and use that. It can be reprogrammed if you're savvy. Now, I will point out here that some of the soldering in there is a little bit iffy, but it works. So, okay, and now let's see who we've got for the manual. I'm going to take this little one here. These are all random drawings. Oh, it just says giveaway 222 in here. And Bob Fox, KB9EFG in Chicago, Illinois. Okay, and I'm going to put this in the book, and these will go to be shredded. Okay, and each of you who won something will get your entry back. I don't keep those. Now, I'm going to change the rules a little bit, okay, from now on. We're going to do it by month. Okay, so this was February. So the next drawing will be March. The March 2022. March 2022. I put 2021 on an invoice recently and had it kicked back to fix. Usually I've been pretty good at doing that, but I let a 2021 slip through. My bad. So there you have it. We're going to do it this way. So the next drawing won't be giveaway number 8 or something like that. It'll just be the March 2022 drawing. Okay. So you can send that starting now if you want, March 2022. Also, we will be collecting all the way through the end of March. And then we'll go to the post office on the last day of March. And that will mean that the drawing will be the first live stream of the month. Okay? So, the next live drawing is March 2022, and we'll do that live stream the first Thursday in April. So that gives people, I think, a little bit more time to get them in. Also, I was kind of getting lost on the numbers, and I don't have a prize picked out yet. Let's look over here and see what we have. This is a very nice little vector antenna analyzer. It goes up to 600 megahertz. It's the FAVA5, and this actually has quite a following in Europe. It's a kit. I put it together. It works. And coming with it are calibration. The little calibration fittings. One of these is an open, one of these is a short. This is the short, this is the open, and this one is 50 ohms. And with that, you can calibrate this thing. And it tells you how to do that in the manual down here. It says assembly and operations, okay? And it was $189. It's actually sold in euros. So this was nearly $200. It's a very nice little thing. You need to put a converter on this thing. It has a rechargeable battery in it. So that's cool. All right. And it's recharged just with an ordinary USB cable. I think you probably have to find the USB cable that goes to that. And this was purchased with channel funds, $189. Although it's a very, very nice antenna analyzer. And you'll notice on here that it graphs things very nicely. There's some companion software to this you can get from the web. So this is a really nice little analyzer. It's just I don't use this one. I use a different one. So why don't we let another Augie use this one? So this will be the March giveaway. So send it to Dave Casler. That's DAVECASLER at KE0OG, P.O. Box 98, Ridgeway, Colorado, 81432. Okay? And you can send that off, and we'll collect them all the way through March. And then in the first live stream in April, we'll announce who's the winner of that. Okay? That's a nice little toy. a very high quality calibratable antenna analyzer, and the instructions are in English. Okay, they're in English, not German. They might be in German too, but they are in English. This came from a Funk Amateur. Funk is the German word for radio. Radio Amateur. This is it's the magazine that the German amateurs use, and it's just a very nice little thing, quite popular in Europe. Okay, there you go. Question, are there any published mods for the UV5R to fix the filtering? Chuck it in the bin and get a GT5R or GS5B. No, it's all down in there in little surface mount components and so on. Dave, you can keyword tag your YouTube videos. Yeah, I know. Just they do have a standard set of keywords. I'll have to. The problem is there's 600 of them, and I just have to go back and do that. Whoops, I see something there. Okay. Search the high impedance of an end-fed means higher voltages. Yes. Question, are there any published mods for the UV5R to fix the filtering? Seriously, I don't know of any. I don't know. Okay, it appears that your videos have your name attached, so you can find your videos about Ballon by doing a YouTube search for David Casler Ballon. Okay, that's true. That's true. Can I have your email to send you an offer? I'd like to speak with you. First, understand I don't consult. I don't do consulting. I can't. I don't have the time. And usually, I know people offer to pay me, but then you get into that professional engineer kind of thing. I would really prefer, Ava, if you would send me an email to askdave@arrl.org and lay out as best you can your problem for me, if you can do that. Ray signal generator, what oscilloscope do I use and or recommend? I use the Rigol, that's RIGOL, and it is the DS1054 Zulu. I believe that scope has been superseded, but you can look for something in that range. It's very easy to use. The thing I have found hard to use is the spectrum analyzer, because I've never worked with one before, and I've got this one. I got it secondhand from Brad Rich N6GR down in Alamogordo, and when I get the thing to work, it's spectacular in the way it can show various things. I just never used one before. Okay, so let's see, reading about services online, audio, video, and searchable content. Yeah, and YouTube will do its version of closed captioning. It's usually hilarious to look at. Now the signal generator that I use is also Rigol, and it is the DG Delta Golf 1022 Zulu Z. Okay. Let's see. Right of about, you see magnify, type Ballon there, it'll only search my videos. Okay, thank you for all of these tips. Tom L. has left $2 for channel funds. Where can you find CW and LSB and USB transmissions? Good question. And I will answer that right now. So far, only $17 in channel revenue. Let's open this up. This piece of paper right here, and I'm afraid what's inside is, oh no, it's inkjet, so it shouldn't be too shiny. This is available on the ARRL website. And if you look here, the CW is in the red and the voice is in the green. Okay? And you can tell this, it's got it all coded out here for the different bands. So you can see, for example, like on 80 meters, I would say the slight majority of people who are on 80 meters are generals. So you're going to find most of your activity here, although it tends to be pretty heavy. 40 meters, there's a small section set aside for advanced and extra. And so you see the frequencies up here, like 7 megahertz to 7.075 megahertz. And there's all the usual rules. You went through these rules when you studied for your license exam. And now let me see if I can give you the URL for this. Just a minute here. It is not going in easily. ARRL.org/band-plan. So let's look at that. Up here, ARRL.org/band-plan. Oh, they've got several versions of it here. Okay, here's a chart. Okay, there's also something called a Considerate Operator's Frequency Guide, which talks about blue, apparently. Well, I'd say the internet's not moving real fast right now. There we go. Okay, and we got to click again. Okay, here we go. Now this will tell you where things are kind of broken down within the bands, what the QRP calling frequencies are, where RIDI and data and stuff like that all are. This needs to be updated for FT8. Okay, this is a little out of date. So now let's go back to this band plan here. Okay, band plan. This is the band chart. Let's see if this is the one we just downloaded. Okay, so you've got a grayscale, black, white, color. You can get one 11 by 17, and then here's the vertical one. I find the vertical most useful because it's easy to put in a notebook. Okay, so if I were to go like this, then I can scroll past the whole thing. Okay, so I hope that answers your question where you can find CW and things like that. Okay, so very good. Let's see. Yeah, I was hoping you'd be giving away the 1959 handbook. Yes, I did. Good evening from Florida, KD2 LCV. Thumbs up, everyone. Okay, I think we've caught up with all the questions. Took us all our time to do it. I want to talk about current events for a minute, if I may. As you all know, the world changed yesterday. And we're seeing a country that the U.S. has historically been at odds with invading a country that has been a business partner of America, if not a political. They were thinking of joining NATO, but they had not. Now, if Russia were to invade a NATO country, an invasion of NATO is considered an invasion of all, and all will respond. But Ukraine is not part of that. So we're looking at it with great interest. What I want to warn you about is scams, especially that can come through ham radio, of people who are saying you can, aid the people of Ukraine by sending dollars to this URL and all that sort of stuff. Please ignore that. If you want to send money that aids people, send it to the Red Cross. They are the international aid agency. And make sure that you use your own browser to find the Red Cross, not some URL sent to you in an email. There will be people trying to tug at your heartstrings on this, which is easy to do with all the terrible things that are happening there. I mean, people are dying as we speak. I don't know where it will go. There is no indication that ham radio will be put on hiatus or anything. There is, as far as I know, no indication that U.S. hams will be forbidden from talking to Russian or Ukrainian hams. If anything comes out, it will come out through the FCC, and the league will get it out to everybody. Interestingly, the FCC chose today to reiterate their demand that people not use ham radio for illegal things. I am thinking the first came out right after the big riot at the Capitol building, and now there is talk about a truckers' takeover of Washington, and I think the FCC is just warning people against using ham radio to support that because it's illegal. What they're doing is illegal. They're shutting it down. Now, you can say, is that part of their free speech? I'll leave you to figure that. But my heart goes out to the people in the Ukraine and those who have been put in a very painful position there. But as far as I know, there are no restrictions on ham radio regarding us operating with each other, any other country, including Russia and the Ukraine, both of whom have lots of hams. There's lots of hams in both. Okay. Don't agree to relay messages to somebody in the U.S. because I don't think we have a reciprocal agreement to do that. In international law, it's illegal for hams to relay messages for people unless there is a bilateral treaty between the two countries. We have that treaty with many countries, but it's mostly South America and some others like that. So just be careful, okay? So I don't know. That's enough about those very sad things. Yeah, there is lots of stuff going on. Amateur radio may be banned in Ukraine, but it's not for us. It's not for us. I mean, there are a lot of people in the Ukraine who are ethnic Russians. Remember that Ukraine used to be part of the USSR, and the USSR, the Soviet Union, treated the whole area as one country, although they were technically Soviet socialist republics, and there was a Ukrainian one. There's bad blood between the Ukrainians and the Russians dating back to the Stalin regime. And there's just lots of things going on. This conflict has a terribly, terribly long history. Also, the Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. They grow enormous quantities of wheat. The Ukraine is largely flat, and they grow a lot of wheat. They've got a lot going on there, so there's a lot going on. We'll learn more about it as time goes on. I just want to bring it up to you as a ham radio person that there is no like to connect my MSLSDR to my Yaesu FT757GX. What is the best way to connect? First IF or share the antenna? Share the antenna. I think you'll have trouble finding the IF in there. It's a highly transistorized radio on one circuit board, if I recall. Caracas, Venezuela. No crisis goes unexploited. That's true. Yes, just be careful of the scammers. We're about to enter World War III. No, not yet. I don't think Putin is dumb enough to try attacking a NATO country, because he's counting on the idea. The Germans have previously stated in the last few weeks that the Ukraine is not considered of strategic interest to them. Well, they're not a NATO country. So, I don't know, you're going to hear a lot of weasel words. You're also going to hear a lot of stuff on the radio and TV from different sources. There are parts of this country that really support Russia. So anyway, listen to the BBC or Deutsche Welle or something like that if you want to get news from closer to the scene. Okay, trucker movement is going on, yes, and I think that's why if you are using ham radio to coordinate something that is illegal, like blocking a highway or something like that. Blocking the highway is illegal. However, you've got your First Amendment rights to say we should block highways, but, you know, remember Mohandas Gandhi and his civil disobedience and so on. It's a weird... Ham radio is a privilege. Yes, it is. The only thing that is illicit in ham radio is speech containing vile language. You know, and that's a very old rule. Sean Boone, thank you, $50 to channel content now. Thank you very much. He says, enjoying your content. Thanks. Rulon 152 says, prayers out to all us on here tonight. Thanks, OG, for your videos. I'm a new ham, and your videos have been a great asset for me starting out. Thank you, KE0OG. Yes, 11 meters is the free speech band. It's mighty free. It's our lowest common denominator. Negative 0101 sends $10 to bump up the channel revenue. Says excellent live stream as usual. Doing my part to bump up channel phone numbers. Yes, I don't know what the exact number is, but you see, a lot of the Ukrainians did not want to be part of the USSR. And in World War II, there were quite a few of them who actually supported the Germans as somebody would liberate them from Russia. And a number of Ukrainian troops actually joined the Wehrmacht. And so when the Soviets pushed back through, they were very angry at Ukraine. And like I said, Ukraine is the breadbasket of that region there. And so Stalin shipped all the wheat out and left the Ukrainians to starve. And so I don't know how Putin can say that Ukraine is an essential part of Russia. They hate Russia. So anyway, No Agenda Podcast has a good analysis, and their hams too. Yeah. My I do have an agenda in mind. I want to provide a safe place for new hams to learn from each other, to learn from me, to learn from more experienced hams and so on. And I do want it to be a safe place. So, one ham, one expired ham. Let's see. They're not blocking the highway. They are peaceful and it's peaceful movement. All main convoy line. If they're not blocking, that's fine. Already idiots in social media swearing Ukraine is a false flag and isn't really happening. No, that is not true. That's not true. Check out the People's Convoy. It's going right now. It's going right now. They are starting in LA somewhere and going to end up in Washington, D.C. And gosh, I wish they'd carry my Amazon packages instead of hauling empty trucks across the country. But oh wow, we can't have everything. If everything were peaceful all the time, it'd be boring, right? Okay, so there we are. We're at the end. I've got these packages to send out, which I will get in the mail tomorrow if I can find the boxes for them, and get them out certainly this week. On Tuesday, I have jury duty, so we'll see what happens there. I'll just go in and say, let's give them a fair trial and hang them. So, like Judge Roy Bean. So, anyway, we'll see what happens. I really love this time of week. It's just my favorite, spending it with you. Sorry to get the notice out late. There's 142 people here. Usually we have a little bit more. Have I considered making a DMR talk group? I have not really looked into that. Didn't someone pay JCD's license renewal? It's not that expensive to renew, and the fees have not kicked in yet. So you're in good shape on that. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things tonight. Talked about, I hope I've answered your questions. I spent tonight jury nullification is a very controversial thing. It's extremely rare, and I saw some people try to use it in Boulder 30 years ago, something like that. Didn't really work very well. Okay. Yeah, the Duga. I don't think there's going to be a lot of an air war over there. Unless they get NATO involved, in which case there will be. So, anyway. God bless you all, and we will see you next week. Remember to send in your entries for the drawing for the little, very comprehensive antenna analyzer that, in spite of what it says on the cover, does have a manual in English. So, I will, should be a post live stream net on 40. We won't make it to Australia. Okay, we'll talk to you all later, and until we next meet, 73.